She's back behind the desk, but something was very different about Kelly Ripa's big comeback moment, and fans watching closely noticed it immediately. After 2 weeks of mystery, guest hosts, and a surprisingly painful secret, Kelly Ripa finally returned to live. But here's the twist nobody saw coming. Her return didn't unfold the way anyone expected, and there's one glaring thing she still hasn't said out loud. Stick around, because this story has more layers than you'd think. If you're a fan of daytime television, you already know that Live with Kelly and Mark is appointment viewing for millions of Americans every single morning. And this week, the show became the center of an entertainment news storm, not because of a scandal, not because of a feud, but because of something far more personal: Kelly Ripa's health, her recovery, and the way she chose or didn't choose to address it on camera. On August 10th, 2026, Kelly finally sat back down at that familiar hosting desk after being absent for 2 weeks. Naturally, fans expected answers, a heartfelt update, maybe even a few jokes about her ordeal. What they got instead was something a little more complicated, and that's exactly what we're unpacking today. Before we dive into the details of her return, let's rewind and remind ourselves who we're talking about. Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos are arguably one of the most beloved couples in entertainment. They met back in 1995 on the set of the soap opera All My Children, fell for each other almost instantly, briefly split, and then famously reunited just a week later before eloping in Las Vegas in 1996. 3 decades and 3 kids later, Michael, Lola, and Joaquin, they're still going strong, both in their marriage and in their television partnership. Kelly built her name as a daytime powerhouse alongside Regis Philbin and later Ryan Seacrest, becoming one of the most trusted and beloved voices in morning television. Mark, meanwhile, carved out his own path with soap opera stardom and roles like Hiram Lodge on Riverdale before officially joining Kelly as her permanent co-host in 2023. Since then, Live with Kelly and Mark has thrived on their real-life chemistry, playful bickering, and refreshingly honest conversations, which is exactly why any disruption to their on-air routine becomes instant news. So here's how this whole story started. On July 27th, viewers tuned in expecting the usual Kelly and Mark banter, but instead found Mark sitting there with a guest host, Jonas Brothers member Kevin Jonas, filling in for Kelly. That's when Mark broke the news. He explained that Kelly had undergone a gum graft surgery, joking that her dentist had told her 5 years earlier that the procedure could wait, and that Kelly had quipped she didn't think she'd still be on the air 5 years later. TV Insider: it sounds minor on paper, but Mark made it clear this was no small thing. He revealed that Kelly was under strict doctor's orders, unable to talk, limited to soft foods, banned from using a straw, and not even allowed to examine the surgical site herself. Hola. And then came the detail that really got fans talking. Mark pointed out that Kelly is famous for having an unusually high pain tolerance, someone who reportedly skips Novocaine at the dentist's office. But this time, she admitted the pain was real, and Mark said that alone told him just how serious the recovery actually was. Hola. For the next 2 weeks, Kelly was noticeably absent from the show, and Mark leaned on an all-star rotation of celebrity guest hosts to help carry the broadcast. Kevin Jonas kicked things off, followed by names like Sarah Chalke, Jenna Dewan, Mila Kunis, Scott Foley, Michelle Buteau, Chrissy Metz, and Carrie Coon, each bringing their own energy to the desk while fans anxiously counted down the days until Kelly's return. And that brings us to the main event, Monday, August 10th, the day Kelly Ripa officially walked back onto that stage. Here's where the story takes an unexpected turn. Fans tuning in that morning were thrilled to see Kelly back in her seat, running through familiar segments like Stump Mark and Travel Trivia, chatting with reality star Teresa Giudice, and diving into a summer cooking segment. On the surface, it looked like business as usual. But according to reporting from outlets covering the show closely, Kelly did not actually address her surgery or recovery process during that episode, Yahoo, and there's a very specific reason why. The episode had already been pre-recorded, meaning it was filmed ahead of time rather than airing live. Yahoo! In fact, this wasn't a one-off. the show has entered its annual summer break, and episodes airing between now and Labor Day will continue to be a mix of new pre-recorded conversations, previously filmed segments, and encore interviews, rather than fresh live broadcasts. Yahoo! So while Kelly is technically back, the raw, unscripted, in-the-moment conversation fans were hoping for, the one where she might finally open up about what she went through, simply hasn't happened yet, at least not on air. According to entertainment reporting, Kelly's true live comeback isn't scheduled until Tuesday, September 8th, which will also mark the official season 39 premiere of Live. Yahoo! That means for nearly a full month, viewers are getting a version of Kelly that's present, visible, and clearly on the mend, but not necessarily speaking candidly about the surgery itself in real time. Naturally, this timeline has sparked plenty of reaction online. Fans have been vocal on social media throughout Kelly's absence, flooding the show's Instagram with well wishes and personal stories of their own dental recovery struggles. Some commenters shared that they'd gone through the exact same gum graft procedure and sympathized with how uncomfortable it can be. Others admitted they were surprisingly attached to the parade of guest hosts, joking that they genuinely enjoyed watching Kevin Jonas and Mila Kunis step in, even while missing Kelly's presence. Now that she's technically back, some viewers have expressed a bit of confusion or mild disappointment realizing the episode was pre-recorded rather than live, with a few noting they were hoping for a more direct, emotional update straight from Kelly herself. So, why does this story actually matter beyond just daytime TV scheduling? For one, it's a reminder of just how much trust Live has built with its audience over the years. Viewers don't just watch Kelly and Mark for celebrity interviews and games. They watch because it feels like checking in with friends, and when one of those friends goes quiet for 2 weeks, people notice, and they care. It also highlights how transparent Mark has chosen to be throughout this entire situation, stepping up not only as a co-host, but as the one keeping fans informed while Kelly physically couldn't speak for herself. That kind of openness has only strengthened the perception of them as a genuine, relatable couple, rather than two polished television personalities. Looking ahead, all signs point to Kelly addressing her recovery more directly once the show returns to a live format after Labor Day. Given her history of being refreshingly candid, whether it's joking about cosmetic procedures on her podcast or discussing her sleep habits on air, it would be very on-brand for Kelly to eventually turn this entire ordeal into a lighthearted, detailed story for her audience, likely filled with a few jabs at Mark along the way. There's also a strong chance we'll hear more about her recovery, either through her podcast, Let's Talk Off Camera, or in interviews leading up to that September premiere. So to sum it all up, Kelly Ripa has technically returned to Live, but the real, unscripted conversation about her gum graft surgery and recovery is still on the horizon, expected once the show goes back to live broadcasts on September 8th. Until then, viewers are getting pre-recorded content, familiar segments, and plenty of anticipation for what promises to be a very Kelly Ripa way of finally addressing what she's been through. Now we want to hear from you. Do you think Kelly should have addressed her surgery more directly during her return, or do you think easing back in through pre-recorded episodes was the smarter move? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let us know if you've been keeping up with the guest hosts, and if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like this video, subscribe for more daily entertainment updates, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next big story from the world of celebrity and daytime TV.